Standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the singing of the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Maya Martin and Najee Campbell, for that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Battaglia, and I'm the principal of Benjamin Franklin High School, and I would like to officially welcome the graduates, underclassmen, faculty and staff, family and friends of the 5th ever graduation for Benjamin Franklin High School at Masonville, Cody. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize the many dignitaries and VIPs in attendance for this occasion. Please hold your applause until all individuals and groups are recognized. First, our stage guests. Tyrell McNeil. Our top 5 students for the class of 2016, Taisha Cox, Mercedes Frederick, Aaron Weaver, Joshua Lollies, our salutatorian, Lisa Heck, our valedictorian, Dawn Strickland, resident principal, April Myrick, assistant principal, Simon Birnbaum, assistant principal, Juliet Neal, assistant principal, Destiny Watford, keynote speaker, Mr. Marnell Cooper, Board of Commissioners, Ms. Sonia Goodwin Askew, Instructional Leadership Executive Director, Ms. Debbie Woolley, Learning to Work Coordinator, Ms. Rhonda Waller, Guidance Counselor, Ms. Heather Lovett, Senior Class Advisor, Mr. William Russell, Senior Class Advisor. I would like to ask our many community partners and special guests who are in attendance in the audience today to please stand and be recognized. With their support and the tremendous partnerships that have been established, Benjamin Franklin has become nationally recognized as a model community high school. I would like to ask the faculty and staff of Benjamin Franklin High School to please stand and be recognized. This is, hands down, the most talented staff in Baltimore City Public Schools. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our valedictorian for the class of 2016, Miss Lisa Heck.
Good morning, ladies teacher and administrators, honored guests, it is an honor to speak to you on a special occasion. Class of 2016 is a day we take a giant step into the real world. My fellow graduates, we only arrived here at Benjamin Franklin High School 4 short years ago, and now it's already time to leave. How did it go so fast? It seemed like only yesterday that we were little freshmen fighting with our locks and our lockers, trying to figure out where we were at our next class, and looking genuinely clueless to our upperclassmen. Now we are upperclassmen, the seniors who stand here ready to graduate and move forward in the real world. We grew up as a family. It's our second home. We grew up together knowing that we were growing to something bigger. Over the past 4 years of high school, we learned about meeting expectations. Our teachers have been expecting us to come to school on time. Some of us did. They expected us to put our phones away, do our homework, and study for exams. Mr. Battaglia framed his expectation of us pretty clearly, but he said again and again, be where you're supposed to be and do what you're supposed to do. It's a pretty good life advice. We should try to remember that. But let's be honest, sometimes people haven't expected enough from us. Many of us have grown up in a society that expects little of us because we're from Brooklyn, Cherry Hill, or Coast Bay. If we go to a small community school, because we are teenagers. Our government teacher, Ms. Freeland, has a sign outside her door that says, defy expectations. I think she hangs this in the hallway because she wants us to be reminded that we can overcome obstacles and prove many people wrong. We can show them we can achieve and become something greater. Today, we can proudly declare that we have defied expectations. We have overcome the struggle of our daily lives and pushed our obstacles out the way as if we were giants and they were mountains. But I want you to take a moment to reflect on your journey here. Stop and think. What are your obstacles then? I know you had them, because we all had obstacles to see. For some of us, the obstacle was living with single parents or struggling with a learning disability, or having to move to a new country and learn a new language. What was your obstacles to get here, to this success? Now, this is the most important part. Think about what you did to get this past obstacle to the success. Because that's an important thing to think about today, on this great day of our graduation. What inspired you to do better, to get to this moment? Who helped you overcome your obstacles? What strength did you find yourself to climb over that obstacle that stands between you and graduation? Today, I ask you to do two things. First, thank the people who helped you. They might be here today. They are. Give them a hug and a thank you. I want to thank our parents and grandparents and other family members who stood by us throughout our lives. They pushed us to a limit and told us to never give up. They did this because they knew we could do it. Thank you, teachers. You have been loving and patient with us, even when we were always lovable back. Thank you for giving up your time to help us post classes when we needed it and helping us raise money for our senior events. But mostly, thank you for believing in us and staying by our sides. Thank you, administrators, for providing steady and friendly leadership to our school we love. The second thing I want to ask you to do today is this. I ask you to remember what part of you has summoned the strength to get to this success. To climb the mountain to this very special day. Hold on to that strength so that when you face your next challenges, you can summon it again. And now, here we stand. Our war is over. It's up to the next class to step into our shoes and take over. I remember in all the friendship I have enjoyed these last 4 years. Some were pretty close, but some were much farther. But I remember each one fondly, as I'm sure you all will too. When many of the high school memories begin to fade, that's how we'll ultimately measure the time we spent here. Not in periods, semesters, or years, but in the friendships that we made and the times we shared. We should not let these friendships fade, because the friendship we made here at Benjamin Franklin are a part of who we are. The greatest memories were the best, and freshman year I remember me and my teachers. I was really shy at first, but we grew a close bond together. My sophomore year, I remember we had the best spirit week in our school. It was better than the last one. I remember in my junior year, I grew fond of everyone. And lastly, for my senior year, I remember when everyone in my AP English class was trying to dance. Mercedes tried to teach Morgan how to dance, but she failed. But now it comes to an end. We must say goodbye, but not for good. We'll be in touch with social media, but as of today, there will be tears and hugs of happiness and sadness. I would like to leave you guys with a quote from Theodore Seuss, who said, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. At this time, I'd like to ask Joshua Lawley, our salutatorian, to come to the podium and introduce our keynote speaker. All right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is not mine. This is not mine. Alright, this is mine. Good morning, parents, families, teachers, administrators, honored guests. Thank you for being with us today. Class of 2016, we made it. Today I have the pleasure of introducing an amazing woman and a great friend, Destiny Watford. She graduated from Ben Franklin High School in 2013 and is now a senior at Towson University. Destiny grew up in the Curtis Bay, Brooklyn area like many of us and saw what our community was and what our community was defined by. On one side we see the very diverse population that lives here. We see the beautiful community garden, built and enjoyed by school children and community members. We see the park and the recreation center where children come to play. But just across the street, you can see the mountains of coal, representing the other side of our community, the industries that bring with them pollutants that affect our community health. There were several times in the past 10 years that the zip code 21226 was ranked in the top 10 in the entire United States for highest quantity of toxic air pollutants released. Destiny has long strived to get power back in community hands and find ways to solve these issues. She began as a founding member of Free Your Voice, a human rights campaign that started in 2012 right here in our own high school. Destiny and Free Your Voice started by trying to identify and seek out what our problems are, where they stem from, and defining what our human rights truly are. Around the time that I joined, about a year and a half later, they were well into building what would be the foundation of a campaign to stop the company Energy Answers from building the nation's largest trash-burning incinerator less than a mile away from Ben Franklin, our neighborhood elementary schools, and many of our homes. Destiny and the group continued the weekly meetings and had amazing accomplishments, like a march from the school to the incinerator site. We rallied together students, parents, and teachers from across the city, unifying around this issue at a Baltimore City Public Schools board meeting. We successfully convinced them, along with 22 other public institutions, to cut their contracts to buy the energy that would be produced by the incinerator. We also successfully got the Maryland Department of the Environment to enforce the law, determining the company's building permits expired and stopping the incinerator for good. Being a part of Free Your Voice was important to me because I made a positive, lasting impact on my community. I take pride in that, and I am grateful for the opportunity to have worked with Destiny and Free Your Voice. This April, Destiny was awarded the Goldman Environmental Prize, which honors grassroots environmental heroes from the world's 6 inhabited continental regions for sustained and significant efforts to protect and enhance the natural environment. It is a special honor to welcome Goldman Prize recipient, Ben Franklin High School alumna, and my friend, Destiny Watford.
Hi guys. So like Josh said, my name is Destiny Watford, and I'm a leader within For Your Voice. And I'm so honored and so proud to be here and to see familiar faces both in the crowd and also on the stage. You know, in the beginning of the campaign, no one in the community knew that the incinerator project even existed. Both the mayor and our previous governor, Governor O'Malley, supported the development. And it was all super overwhelming, especially considering that we started out as a group of high school students and questioned if there was anything that we could actually do to truly make a difference. But we knew that even if we failed, we had to do something. And through extensive organizing, reaching out to community members, our churches, families, friends, and decision makers, we have a massive and powerful team of supporters and organizers that have collaborated with us throughout our journey. With all of our collective efforts, we succeeded in getting the incinerator to stop construction. And we're having dialogues within our community, the city, and other stakeholders to explore truly green alternatives. Today I want to take a step back. And I'm going to reflect on some lessons and things that I've learned through the campaign about education, about building a movement, and about unity and what it means to grow together. So lesson number one, and my previous teachers will probably be not so happy with me for saying this, but I think it's very true. So lesson number one, school isn't everything. Don't get me wrong, education is very important, and I'm so proud that you've all made it this far. I know that this accomplishment does not come without hard work, but let's be honest. Our education system isn't equipped to teach us everything we ought to know, but it does give us space to explore. As a kid, I really hated going to school, partially because I was not, in any sense of the term, a morning person. But I also didn't see its purpose. Sure, I could effectively conduct a sentence or calculate the square root of x, but I never grasped the meaning behind it all. In fact, only recently have I begun to understand the true beauty of it. We've all been educated through the public school system, and although it has its flaws, the beauty of the system is that at its root, it brings forth principles of equality and equity and fairness. It provides opportunities to enlighten ourselves and allows us to look out at the world and question what we see. It was this model that in part opened the doors for Your Voice to form and gave us the space that we needed to flourish and to look out at our community and see the injustices that we were facing, like living in a food desert, homelessness, literally living next to gigantic mountains of coal, or an endless sea of polluting industries. Ben gave us the tools and the space that we needed to explore these injustices, but understanding them and the actions that were necessary in order to change them, that was a challenge that I couldn't learn in the classroom. Ben hadn't prepared me for, and that we would have to learn to take on ourselves. Which brings me to lesson number 2. Resistance is necessary to make change. Some of the biggest and most influential philosophers, engineers, and scholars are not known because they followed the rules. In fact, they often broke them. It's the only way that change can happen. In the campaign to stop the incinerator, resistance of the status quo was absolutely necessary. Why? Because just from going to school and living in the Curtis Bay and Brooklyn communities, we're more likely to die of lung cancer, of respiratory disease, and to suffer from asthma. For generations, neighboring communities have been forced out of their homes to pave way for polluting developments like coal, landfills, and chemical plants, responsible for making toxic wartime explosives. The incinerator, for those that don't know, would have been burning 4,000 tons of trash every day and was legally allowed to release 240 pounds of mercury every year and 1,000 pounds of lead, making it yet another addition to the polluting developments that have already caused so much harm. Not only that, but in Maryland, incineration is celebrated as a great source of producing energy. It's considered green, despite all of the pollution that it could cause. The incinerator was a routine development. created to make a profit that would sacrifice our health and the health of the people that we love. But this isn't new. This was the norm, the status quo, business as usual, which is why we had to resist. In school, we're often encouraged to think critically as long as we obey the rules. We're told that the world is ours to conquer if we follow the rules. And we're told that if we fail in life, it's because we didn't obey, because we didn't follow the rules, because we didn't abide by tradition or the status quo. But we were never really taught the importance of, well, not following the rules, for obvious reasons. But Martin Luther King Jr. didn't follow the rules, because he and other civil rights activists recognized that the world that they were living in would not change unless they questioned the laws that oppressed them, and pressured others to question the rules that confined them. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people to go out and start causing anarchies in the streets or anything of the like. However, as we were learning the campaign, we couldn't afford to follow the rules. It wasn't because we were bored with them or because we needed something to do in our spare time. It was a matter of survival. The incinerator was a violation of our basic human right to breathe clean air. And if the structures and systems that were meant to protect us from developments like the incinerator were treated as good, what option did we have other than to resist them? Curtis Bay has been ignored, treated as a dumping ground by city officials, stakeholders, and sometimes residents within our own community. Challenging the norm, it's never easy. I remember one day in the For Your Voice group, we were allowed to get out of school early to do community outreach surrounding the incinerator, and although the group had canvassed before, the experience was still relatively new to me. And if anyone here has canvassed or knocked on doors, you'll know that you can't really be sure what to expect. You could be greeted with open arms and exciting conversations or a door slam. On this particular outing, I remember walking up to a house, knocking on the door, waiting patiently, clipboard in hand, and ready to provide or take down any information. A few moments passed before an older man answered the door. I remember saying, "Hi, my name's Destiny. Do you know about the plan to build the nation's largest trash-burning incinerator in your backyard?" I then proceeded to tell him about the project and our efforts to stop it, to which he replied, "The work that you kids are doing is pointless. Curtis Bay is and always will be a dumping ground, and you're not going to change that." His response caught the group and I off guard. When organizing around an issue experiencing rejection or resistance is a given, and the group knew this, nevertheless, we couldn't help but feel frustrated and angry, largely due to the fact that we hadn't yet studied our history. We hadn't known the truth of what he was saying. We spent a lot of time analyzing that moment, and even then, we didn't realize, and even though we didn't realize it at first, his statement was far more deep and complex than a simple, "not interested." It represented the end result of a long history rooted in failed developments like the incinerator. And if we were ever going to make a change in our community, we had to understand that despite our anger and frustration, or how scary and uncomfortable the truth was to accept, the man was right. Curtis Bay is a dumping ground and has been treated as such for generations, and its people are considered victims. Changing the fate of our community, we would learn that changing people's hearts and minds from one that passively accepted the status quo and believed that there was nothing else that we could do, to minds of active resistance. Which leads me, lastly, to lesson number 3, unity. A huge lesson that I and other members of the group have learned in our campaign is that a lot of the time, it's the vision that keeps us from progress. Race and racism, for instance, is often used as a tool to divide us. Let's be honest. Living in America means living with structural racism. And when dealing with issues of justice, you have to grapple with the racism that has existed for centuries. In Curtis Bay, there are several communities, including Fairfield and Wagners Point, that were segregated. Wagners Point, predominantly white, Fairfield, predominantly black. Both communities were company towns, living in poverty, working in dangerous, hazardous conditions, and were forced to live in a toxic environment. Both communities also suffered the same fate. Their needs and health were ignored. They were forced to be relocated by the government because of the hazardous conditions that they were living in. On the surface, it seems this history can be read as two communities different in culture and race facing an issue together. And although an element of this is true, something that perspective ignores is the issue of racism that divided the two communities. For instance, while residents of Wagners Point lived in houses, residents of Fairfield lived in shacks. Members of Wagners Point had access to a plumbing system. The members of Fairfield didn't. Were promised plumbing and then didn't get it until 30 years later. I mention this because it's an example of structural racism. It also happens to be the story that isn't told in our history books. This is a problem, because if we don't understand the layers of a situation or our history, then we often obtain misguided or misconstrued ideas of why things are the way that they are. For example, throughout our fight to stop the incinerator, we have heard a number of explanations of why the community is considered a dumping ground. During a community association meeting, for example, a member referred to an influx of poor black kids in the community as things. Another time, a neighbor next to my high school placed a noose around his tree and hung it in their front yard, which faced the school. This response is of course racist, but these responses are not solely birthed out of inherent hate or disgust or because white people hate black people. Dehumanizing black children, referring to them as things, lashing out against teens by tying a noose around a tree in your front yard, draws on and reinforces values from a system, from a society, from a structure that is racist. A lot of this has to do with how we educate ourselves in our educational system. More often than not, our history is romanticized and hides the complexity of race and racism, which are then embedded into the basic structures that we need to keep our society going. Our legal and justice systems, our political systems, our economic systems. And when an issue arises, we don't analyze these systems and try to identify the problem. We blame each other. So when news of the plan to build the nation's largest trash burning incinerator makes its way around, the response from the community members isn't, how is that possible? It's, what did you expect? The mentality of the old man, this perspective of things will never change, is associated with race to justify the severe injustices that we already live with. Curtis Bay used to be an all-white community, just like Wagners Point. And Ben, the school that you guys are all graduated from, used to be an all-white school. And I've heard community members say that they missed the good old days when Curtis Bay was a vibrant, strong, and healthy community, which is often code for all things were great before the black people moved in. The fact of the matter is, just like Fairfield and Wagners Point, and Curtis Bay were all facing the injustices of living in poverty, a food desert, breathing in poisoned air. These injustices exist. So how do you unify and organize together when we have different life experiences, cultures, ideologies, and perceptions of how we got here? How can we see a common ground and fight the things that cause us harm? The first step, we have to re-educate ourselves and understand that the fight isn't with each other, but rather with the developments and the structures that would pin us against each other and are causing us harm. I'm going to leave you guys with this. I know I said a lot. I know it's a lot to take in, but at the end of the day, what do we have, right? I mean, we were taught that, or an idea is that, you know, it's every woman and man and child for themselves, that we have to invest in our own individual goals, which I think is absolutely a perfectly fine thing to do. But at the end of the day, when we're told to leave our communities and to get out as fast as we can, I think the greater thing to do, in my opinion, is to join together and fight for the things that we need. Fight for the things like our schools. Fight for justice that we need, instead of just turning a blind eye, which is often what we're taught. Thank you.
Destiny, it's amazing to think that just a few short years ago, Destiny was sitting in the same seats that you were. This past spring, I was sitting out in the audience when she received the Goldman Award for environmental, activism down in Washington, which she was the representative for the entire continent of North America, which was absolutely amazing. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Debbie Woolley, Learning to Work Coordinator, and Ms. Rhonda Waller, Guidance Counselor, to share the many recognitions and awards received by our graduates.
Good morning. My name is Debbie Woolley, and I'm the Service Learning Coordinator for Benjamin Franklin High School. It has been my pleasure to work with the class of 2016 on meeting the state of Maryland's graduation requirements of 75 service learning hours for graduation. Every single student here today worked hard to complete this requirement, and I am very proud of all of you. As a whole, Benjamin Franklin High School completed 17,347 hours. I would like to honor the students who went well beyond the required 75 service learning hours, and we are presenting them with Presidential Service Awards. Their names are listed in today's program, and all of you will be receiving your awards with your diplomas following the ceremony. Students who worked over 100 hours on service projects have earned the Bronze Presidential Award. We have 19 graduating students who earned the Bronze Award. When I say your name, please stand and remain standing. Lucas Flores. Jessica Rexroad. Daniel Tomlinson. Iris Ulloa Portillo. Hussein Al-Sadi. Jasmine Martinez. Samaya Neal. Ray Rio Cordero. Jasmine Molina. Marlo Brown. Edwin Panado. Daquan Moss. Malik Laughlin. Wenson Lin. Alana Cohen. Daquan Greer. Cortez Jones. Michael Regus. And Ebony Tate. Congratulations, Bronze Award winners. You may be seated. The next level is the Presidential Silver Award, which is for students who worked 175 hours or more on service projects. We have 16 members of the class of 2016 receiving this award. Again, when I read your name, please stand and remain standing. Myra Castillo. Naomi Holmes. Andre Carter. Jones. Lester Jenkins. Daria Reed. Lisa Hall. Aaron Weaver. Alan Doyle. Ariel DeSelli. Diamond Staggers. Deshaun Wheeler. Medina Vieira. Diane Weaver. Catherine Figueroa Estrada. projects for over 250 hours. Will the following Gold Award recipients please stand as I read your names and remain standing? Stefan Hutchinson. Morgan Holcomb. Lisa Hatch. Jada Roby. Ashley Lyman. Mercedes Frederick. Miguel Carr. Camden Adkins. Jonathan Faison. Deshaun Wheeler. Brian Kramer. Joshua Lally. Taisha Cox. Gary Brown. Amia Hawkins. Malaysia Wise. Janere Walker. Imani Barnes. Congratulations, Gold Award recipients. You may proceed. There is one Gold Award recipient that I would like to recognize individually because she was exceptional in the number of hours that she earned. She created her own project and implemented it through her 4 years of high school and served on other service projects as well. Her anti-bullying program helped her earn almost 1,200 hours. Will Brianna Brooks please come up on the stage and accept Now it is my pleasure to welcome Rhonda Waller, our guidance counselor, to the podium.
Hello, parents, friends, distinguished guests, and the class of 2016. In the guidance department, a school counselor's responsibilities are to ensure that all students are given the opportunity to pursue a career or further their education at a secondary institution after high school. It has been my honor to serve as your school counselor. It is truly a blessing to be a part of your celebration when you were accepted to college, or you received a scholarship, or that you just allowed me to be a part of your decision in the future. I want to take the time to thank Ms. Janet Fleming, Ms. Kelly Baker-Weiss, Ms. Walsh, Ms. Heather Chapman, the Ben Center for their assistance in providing support to the Benjamin Franklin High School Guidance Department, as well as Mr. Battaglia, our principal, along with Mr. Birnbaum, Ms. Neal, Ms. Myrick, Ms. Strickland, Ms. Carroll, teachers, supporting staff, and of course, the class of 2016 for allowing the guidance department to be a part of your life. This year, out of 69 seniors, 81% of them applied to one or more colleges. 12 students were accepted to four-year colleges and were accepted to two or more four-year colleges. 40 students were accepted to two-year colleges. 2 students plan to go into the military. 1 student plans to go into the trade school. 7 students are currently employed with the MedStar and the University of Maryland Healthcare System via an incredible partnership internship headed by Ms. Woolley. 81% of our graduating class completed their FAFSA or their free application for student aid. This year, the class of 2016 was awarded over $325,000 through grants and scholarships to attend college. At this time, I would like to recognize our Merit Scholars. A Merit Scholar is a student who is recognized for their academic excellence by earning a cumulative grade point average between a 3.0 and a 4.0, which represents the top 5% of this 2016 graduating class. The top 5% merit scholars are Lisa Heck, Josh Rose, Aaron Weaver, Aisha Cox, and Mercedes Frederick. Congratulations, merit scholars, you may be seated. The next group of students I would like to acknowledge, please stand and remain standing. Lisa Heck, Josh Wallace, Aaron Weaver, Taisha Cox, Mercedes Frederick, Danielle Tomlinson, Ray Zayou Cordero, Miguel Carr. These students represent the top 10% of the graduating class. Some of these students qualified to participate in the Towson University Top 10 Scholar Program as a part of Baltimore City Public Schools Top 10 Initiative. They were eligible to receive $2,000 as a Top 10 Scholar or $1,000 awarded for the Gateway Program. Congratulations to the top 10%. The Howard P. Rollins Scholarship Guarantee Access Grant is funded by the Maryland Higher Education Commission, which awards students up to $14,000 per year who meet the following criteria. They need to have a 2.5 GPA or higher and demonstrate financial need. Will the following students please stand? Lisa Heck, Joshua Lowry, Aaron Weaver, Taisha Cox, Mercedes Frederick, Danielle Tomlinson, Sarah Reed, Miguel Carr, Camden Atkins, Mary Walker, Anita Hawkins, Caitlin Wilson, Ariella Shelley, Michelle Young, Amani Barnes, Mohammed Al-Muhabarabi, Mayonia Holmes, Deanna Brooks, and Alan Doyle. These students were the 2016 eligible recipients. Congratulations to those students who were awarded this grant. You may be seated. Every year, applying for scholarships and grants takes time and commitment. This year, with the assistance of Ms. Walsh, these students took full advantage of this opportunity. At this time, will Josh Lollies and Camden Atkins please stand? Josh was awarded $1,000 from the Comcast Scholarship this year. Camden Atkins, known as Cam, plans to attend Stevenson University, where he was awarded $10,000 for the next 4 years. Congratulations, you may be seated. In the memory of Mr. Frank Battaglia, the father of our principal, Christopher Battaglia, a scholarship was created in honor called the Bayhawk Legacy Scholarship. This is a $500 scholarship, recognizes a student that is college bound, a hard worker, and is dedicated member of the Bayhawk family. This year, 2016 recipient of the Bayhawk Legacy Scholarship is awarded to Malaysia Wise. You may come to the stage.
Okay, we've reached the time now when I will begin the official recommendation of the class for the conferring of diplomas. Upon completion of this process, students will receive their diplomas. Our students have worked extremely hard to make this once-in-a-lifetime moment memorable for each participant. Therefore, we ask that the audience not applaud or make noise until each row has received their diploma. We understand how excited you are to cheer for your graduate, and we want to challenge you to cheer as loud as possible after each row has been called. But more importantly, we want to explain the reason why. Because we want to make sure that every student's name is heard. So you only have to wait for about 12 names before you can explode. Our students want to make sure that none of their peers is deprived of his or her special moment on stage. A professional photographer will take pictures as each graduate receives his or her diploma on stage. In recognition of the records and achievements of the students of this class, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as the principal of Benjamin Franklin High School at Masonville Code, I certify that these students have met the graduation requirements of both the Baltimore City Public Schools and the Maryland State Department of Education. I take great pleasure in recommending to you the graduating class of 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of presenting to you Ms. Sonia Goodwin-Askew, Instructional Leadership Executive Director.
Hello, everyone, and congratulations, class of 2016. Acknowledging the certification and the recommendation by the principal and by the authority vested in me as the Executive Director of CLN 7, I take pleasure in presenting to you the graduating class of 2016 for the conferring of diplomas. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of presenting to you Commissioner Marnell Cooper for the acceptance of the class.
Benjamin Franklin, I'm the last person standing between you and walking across the stage. I need to know, are you ready? I need to sit back down, but that doesn't sound like you're ready to me. Are you ready? In recognition of the certification of these graduates, the recommendation of the principal, Mr. Battaglia, and the acknowledgement of the executive director, Sonia Goodwin, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners as the chair of the Baltimore City School Board, I take pleasure in accepting the graduating class of 2016 to the conferring of high school diplomas.
Lisa Marie Peck.
Joshua Wayne Lally. Aaron Lyle Weaver. Mercedes J. Frederick. Taisha V. Cox. Imani Nairi Barnes. Deanna Kishay Brooks. Myra Alejandra Castillo. Alana Shay Cohen. Ariel Renee DeSelli. Catherine Anayasi Figueroa Estrada. Janelle Abigail Gonzalez. Tamika Lynn Hall. Amia M. Hawkins. Morgan Alley Holcomb. Myunia D. Holmes. Olivia Marissa J. Tyrell J. McNeil. Camden Atkins. Muhammad Radwan El Mogharabi. Hussein K. Al-Sadi. Tony Marcellus Graham III. Gary Brown Jr. Marlo K. Brown. Alfonso Bruno Williams. Miguel D. Carr. Andre D. Carter. Ludwig A. Chavez Gonzalez. Anthony Coffey. Alan Douglas Wayne Doyle. Jonathan E. Faison. Rosemary Medina Vieira. Jasmine Molina. Samaya S. Neal. Jessica Marie Rexfield. Jada Tashay Roby. Jonay J. Scott. China and Ebony Tate. Elizabeth Noah Portillo. Malaysia Rise. Michael Angelo Reyes Garcia. Rai Delphi Rico Correa. Diamond B. Daniel Scarlett. Wande Colon Thomas Weaver. Deshaun Jeremy Justin White.
At this time, I would like to take just a few moments to speak to our graduates. Class of 2016. Many of you have spent your high school careers struggling to find relevance in the academic content we taught in classes. In fact, many of you have earned your diploma by performing tasks that you deemed as, well, stupid. But something amazing is going to happen to you very soon. You're going to look back on your time with us here at Penn, and you're going to realize how special this time was. You see, the learning didn't start and stop with the bell. The learning was constant. We're all learners regardless of our age or title. We're also all students and teachers. You and your teachers have taught me a lot over the years. For instance, I've learned what kindness and humility look like thanks to Janelle Gonzalez, Mr. Jackson, Amia Hawkins, Lester Jenkins, Ludwig Chavez Gonzalez, Miss Reardon, and Lucas Flores. I've learned what it means to be determined and resilient thanks to China Shepard, Miss Flynn, Bashira Robinson, Tyrell McNeil, Miss Shel Johnson, Mercedes Frederick, Denary Walker, and Miss Nikki. I've learned to laugh when having a bad day, thanks to Gary Brown, Miss Carol, Diamond Staggers, Miss Hawkins, Sean Wheeler, and Imani Barnes. You see, learning can never be isolated to a classroom. We're all students and we're all teachers. As you go through each day, look for the lessons to be learned in the everyday happenings in your life. At the end of each day, reflect on how your actions and your words help to make the lives of others better. 2016 graduates, know that we love you very much, that I love you very much. And always remember that we are nosotros somos. this time, I would ask that the class of 2016 please stand for the turning of the tassel. This act of turning of the tassels signifies the passage from high school student to high school graduate. Please move your tassel from right to left. I would like to introduce Mr. William Russell, who will lead us in singing the alma mater. The words can be found in your program. A couple housekeeping notes. At the conclusion of the alma mater, our graduates will recess out when the recessional music begins. Out of respect for our graduates, we ask that our audience remain seated until the last graduate reaches the back of the theater. Graduates, remember to exit the building and re-enter through the doors outside your right to receive your diploma.